population lived in the town of Twin Rivers, and a few in Wolverine Falls, a settlement a little farther upriver. But to access the rest of the area, there was only one mode of transport: air, until snow and ice made parts accessible via snowmobile. Rosalie had told Tana that Corporal Scarrett, unbeknownst to HQ and Yellowknife, had been going quietly and progressively crazy since last winter. "It was the near 24/7 darkness and cold that did it," said Rosalie, followed by the incessant sunlight of summer combined with black fly swarms that had made him insomniac and driven him totally over the top. And then there was the larger-than-life lore that dogged the station commander from 3 years back. Sergeant Elliot Novak. "He's still out there, in the woods," Rosalie had said. "He's gone bush. It's the white man cops," she'd said. "This place messes with their white man heads." Tana, however, might stand half a chance, according to Rosalie, given that Tana had only half a white man head, her Scandinavian prospector father's half. Her mother had been Dogrib, a people of the Dene First Nations from the shores of Great Slave Lake, and because of it, Tana spoke North Slavey, which is probably why she'd been given this accursed outpost, even though she was pretty much still a rookie. That, and no one else seemed to want it. Strange things, Tana thought as she stared at the reality dating game show on TV, are done in the lands of the midnight sun by men who moil for gold or diamonds. The bachelor on the show held a box containing a massive solitaire diamond as he approached the two final, shivering contestants. Onto which finger would he slip that sparkling stone? Both women appeared as though they might faint, awaiting his final choice. Tana stilled her spoon as the camera panned right in on the diamond. The hard gem winked rainbows. The enduring symbol of love. Her eyes suddenly grew hot as her own little diamond ring that she wore on a chain under her uniform seemed to burn against her skin. Her jaw tightened. It was a farce, that shit. A marketing coup, if ever there was one, eternally linking a cold, hard stone to love, and guilting every man into buying his woman one. Why was she even watching this crap? Because it was on TV, that's why. And there wasn't a remote to be found in this tiny police building apartment, and she was too exhausted to get up and change the channel manually. Plus, it did have that voyeuristic, salacious thing going on. The voiceover was saying how this solitaire was as pure as the cold Canadian tundra from whence it was mined. "Now that, right there, is another marketing coup," she said to her dogs. Toyan cocked an ear, but Max didn't bother. Diamonds were expensive to mine in the frozen north. The terrain was vast and inaccessible. Labor was expensive. Yet the stones that came out of this tundra had to compete on the same global market as diamonds that were produced far more cheaply in places like Africa, India, Vietnam, or China, so local entrepreneurs had sought ways to add value to the Canadian gems. The result was a government mandate that 10% of all diamonds mined in the Northwest Territories must be cut and polished here, instead of being shipped to India, which processes about 80% of the world's diamonds. This had brought jobs and a huge diamond-related industry to Yellowknife, Tana's hometown on the shores of Great Slave Lake. Sambake, the money place, Yellowknife was now called. And today, at the end of the small airport runway in Sambake, sat Diamond Row, a series of low buildings that housed artisans who hunkered at long benches, shaping and polishing the rough stones, putting facets on them that turned them into brilliant, sparkling gems. These folk were employed by jewelers like Tiffany and Company, and they came from around the world, places like Tanzania, Mauritius, Armenia, India. Most became Canadian citizens. And onto every gem polished locally, microscopic images such as polar bears and maple leaves were laser branded, and each of those branded diamonds was then given a serial number.